Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. This is going to be my final thoughts on The Last Kingdom. And I'm just going to get right to it. I'm going to give like the conclusion right here at the beginning. Would I watch The Last Kingdom 5 seasons again if I knew what I knew now in the final season? And being somewhat disappointed in some of the stuff in the last season, would I watch The Last Kingdom again? The answer to that is yes. I would 1000% watch The Last Kingdom. So if anybody's questioning, like, man, should I even start this show? Or, like, is this going to be for me? Yes, for sure. I would watch it again. Now, that being said, let me kind of get into some of the highlight moments if I can recall it. And I might do some ranting here at the beginning, but I'm just going to touch base on all the things that I saw while I was watching the show that I was either irritated by or I was just like blown away or I was just like, what was great? So the last season by far was the worst season for me when it came down to watching The Last Kingdom. Probably in order. So it was like season 5, and then season 4 was the next suckiest. So the season 3, 2, and 1. That's like basically the order of things. But the nature of each season was pretty like they tried to do a little differential shifts between the seasons. And so for that, I applaud you. You guys did a great job. Whoever the producers were of this. So what did I really take away? So I think if you watch my other video about my rant on The Last Kingdom, I did not like how they started out with Brita having this little moment with all the group of Danes. First of all, they played background music and then had them, it was like they overdubbed like this woman singing the chants, oh, but it was overdubbed. You can tell she's just a woman moving her mouth, and then like all this kind of woo woo energy on a chick, Brita. First of all, Brita did not command any kind of intelligent or intellectual respect. I didn't agree like in season 4 when Cedric or whatever his name was came in to rescue her. That didn't make any sense for me. Like, oh, he's going to go through all these different people, kill off Welsh people, just because he wants to get inside this kingdom and he's going to ask about a Dane named Brita. Like, what? She's not supposed to be on the top of the minds of these people. Whether or not it was his cousin's wife or whatever, I don't know. It didn't really matter a whole lot to me. I don't think that, like, a lot of these Danes don't stay close anyways. They always had some that they were trying to solve in their immediate areas. The only time there was a lot of avenging going on was usually dealing with like more close-knit family, like brothers, fathers, sisters, something like that. That's when avenging would happen. Anyways, I'm just talking about with the show. I'm not talking about regular history. So I didn't like that aspect of it. But Brita got all this power. So I'm going to harp on Brita for just a minute, and then I'm going to move along in the series. So Brita gets in. She starts causing all this chaos, killing folks in the village, like trying to get Uhtred's daughter to come out because I guess she's going to figure out how she's going to screw her up. And she just wants to give so much bad energy back to Uhtred. Those plans go awry. They don't work out. And here's this kid who I thought was a boy, but it was obviously a girl. And because she kept saying she, and all this kind of thing. But she's the seer. And here's the fucked up part. They plant all these different scenarios where their words don't match their actions. So she's the seer. I'm going to paint a little part in this story in case you hadn't seen it. So her daughter gets blindfolded. She goes around and like touches people. And the people she's touching, they get X'd out. They're like, oh, see her grab that hand. They are not worthy. Cut them. And so they just slicing heads. And then they get to this one cat who was pivotal and influential in getting them into Cedric's kingdom. And it's the brother of Cedric. And what the seer is like, kind of navigating, and like he kind of screws up and gets himself in the process. And she grabs his hand. The little girl goes, oh, this is the motherfucker you need to kill. And he's like, yo, I don't know what the fuck. No, please don't take me out, yo. Now, at that point, gangsters be gangsters. That's what I say when I watch these shows. I say, gangsters be gangsters. You killed off all the other people justly by the gods, but you make a pass for this motherfucker. So she goes, let this be a lesson. And she just cuts him like there ain't no freaking sacrifice in that. So she just cuts him. If you want to know what screwed up Brita with the gods, it was the fact Brita didn't go carry her fucking shit all the way. She picked and chose the advantageous situations that I'm just making this up. I'm not saying the show intended for it. I'm just saying this is the interpretation I draw from it. In that she didn't carry through with her words of conviction. She killed off a bunch of Saxons, but when they get to an unworthy Dane, she gonna let him live. Come on. And I think she killed some unworthy Danes too. Don't get me wrong. So, and these are like defenseless women. So it's like, this bitch is crazy. Brita's crazy. So, anyways, we move through this little arc right here. Boom. He stays on board. I'm gonna fast forward. Now we get Brita. She's on her own. She has this Father Pudic or whatever his name is. Like, again, I don't keep track well with all these names. I don't say them enough to be able to remember them. So Pedrick, let's say Pedrick. So you get Father Pedrick, and she keeps him alive. And then, like, this doesn't make any sense. I think she does something where she goes a kind of a little stupid or psycho, and she's like, well, maybe we go and kill this guy, this Dane right here. She like offers up the Dane for like some kind of weird sacrifice thing. Not Pedrick, but the Dane. And he's like, hey, no, man, cut that shit out or whatever. He gets her to stop the process. The Danes that are with Brita, they all wake up to the dumb fucking chick. I'm like, duh, she's been misleading you. How'd you all join this group? So they all wake up to the light that Brita is a nut basket, and they flee the scene. And I'm like, wow, really? Anyways, now she's left by herself. She has no daughter. She's trying to make sense of all this. She doesn't understand the gods. She's placing faith in Pedrick. Anyways, then she goes down the line. He's trying to save her so she can get in touch with Uhtred so they can communicate. And then because he doesn't say some pivotal, it's not pivotal information, but it's information that would have slanted her decision making. He explains this to the crazy chick. No, Brita processes it like, oh, you're unfaithful to me. I can't trust you. So crazy. They make women look bad on the show sometimes. I don't like how they portray women to be just these emotional creatures with no rational thinking. Because me personally, women can be irrational, don't get me wrong, but there's a lot of women that are rational. They would have put that too. They would have listened. There was some compassion. But no, they play these chicks like they're freaking crazy and they're irrational. I don't get it. Uhtred's daughter's the same. She finally comes to her senses at the end. We'll get to that. So, anyways, Pedrick, she kind of cuts him. If you survive, great. You just send a message to Uhtred for me. Like, man, like, you think Pedrick's like, dang, man, I just been helping this whole damn time. I'm glad he lived. He lives through the whole thing, thank God. Anyways, moving through the story, I'm going to get it to where Uhtred's now in the fight with Brita. So him and her fight, they have their little emotional moment. He can't kill her. He just can't kill her. That's just the wrap of the story. And I don't blame him. I mean, he got too much emotional baggage with her, too much emotional history. He says, if I kill you, I kill a piece of me. Some self-centered shit, Uhtred. But hey, she's like, I want to repent. I want to figure out. I need to get better. Basically, she's admitting to her psychological problems, which is great. The show put that in there. But then crazy bitch number 2 shows up, which is Brita. Not Brita, but Uhtred's daughter, which I don't even know what her name is. I've kind of forgot. What is her daughter? What is his daughter? I can't, whatever. Let's say Uhtred. So Uhtred's daughter shows up, puts an arrow through Brita, and like, I'm like, look at this chaos. And what? Just all this like avenge, and all this kind of stuff. It just doesn't make any sense. But anyways, Uhtred's daughter is supposedly more gangster than Uhtred. That's the whole play behind the show. Fast forward, and I'm not going over every single moment of this season 5. I feel like that would be an exhausting video to watch. It's already exhausting watching me. But I will get to the points that I thought were like even more aggravating. First of all, they bring in a black dude. I'm cool. Y'all want to fucking add the black brother. I get it. Okay? It's nice seeing my folks up in my shows. It's great. I'm like, great. But when you paint us as fucking idiots and like we're slaves to somebody or something like that shit is annoying as ever to watch. I'm not claiming prejudice. I'm not claiming discrimination. However, if the shoe fits, it freaking fits. So let's look at this scenario. To bring the black guy on, he's got some damn debt that he's got to pay to, Lord Elfridge or whatever his name. I'm just naming names. I don't even these names I can't keep track. Elfridge. So he's got like this amount of he's got some debt to pay Elfridge, and they're painting him to be some kind of like crackhead through the whole show. Basically, like they don't even know why he's there. Nobody knows. He just shows up. Like this guy's not a part of this story at all. They just said we need a black guy because somebody complained there was too many white people. So throw this black guy in here, and there he is. He's like, I'm your Jeffrey. I'm here. And so there he is. He's just like, nobody gets, and at one point, King Alfred's wife, the widow, she starts making some crack ass fucking jokes. Like he's over here like, oh, praise the God for this. And he's like, let's celebrate. And he's got this little ceremonial situation. And he's got this cup, this chalice in his hand. And she's like, make sure we get that back from him. I was like, look at that sideways bullshit. Make sure we get that shit back from him. Like you can't trust brothers. They slick with that bullshit. Make sure we get that shit back. I was like, damn. Wow, how about that? Oh, casting some shade right there. So I was like, that's some effed up shit. Like they said nothing like that through the entire seasons of this show about anybody. Like he's suspect to be he the type that would hoard that shit. You better watch him. No, just the brother. Just the brother. He gets that freaking comment. Anyways, it plays out later in the show because he takes that damn shit and he auctions it off to Lord Elfridge. Now, the only reason I can justify her comment to some extent, but boy did it feel like a profiling statement, is because she probably had prior knowledge that he owed a debt to Lord Elfridge. And so that's why she would have made that kind of statement. These are the passes I'm making in this show. I'm just saying it's not overt enough for the audience member to keep rolling with it. Anyways, he is just a terrible bastard, man. They made him a bastard the whole damn show. Like, he did kind of make amends at the end where he come back and talk to I think, King Edward to advise him, like, what's going on better. But that's about it. Because, he was the Kickstarter. Whenever they were like, I think y'all should see this. Y'all don't know about the Queen? Oh, the Queen got killed. It's like, he the motherfucker that shared the bullshit and jumped everything off. They specifically hid the girl. I keep trying to figure out, like, did I, like, look away for a moment? Like, how did he see that she was one? Like, I didn't see that scene, so maybe it's in there. If somebody goes back and watches it and says, yeah, he was over watching. He was seeing, like, Uhtred say, hey, we got to keep this quiet. If that's what happened, that's what happened. But otherwise, he just opened up his big mouth, say, hey, the Queen dead over there in a trough. Well, I just want you to know that. They got her covered up with some sheets. Y'all ought to see that. Damn, what you think now? I'm like, man, keep your mouth shut. They started a big-ass war, Dane War. Anyways, the things that they set up for actions to forward the plot they needed a little bit more tweaking. And they're smart enough to come up with some good concepts because they've done a great job. Now, that's one moment. The other moments are like at the end of like the season. First of all, they kind of hurried it and then they drew it out. Like they had 2 episodes. The last 2 episodes should have kind of better overlap. Like there should have been much more war. The war should have started in episode 9, and then the last episode finished. Instead, it really didn't kick off. It all kicked off in one episode. So it was like, oh, I think that was a little bit delayed gratification. It just didn't. It felt like it was just like quiet for most of it. And I can't stand when shows kind of keep it quiet to the last episode. So they could have just halved that up, put it in episode 9. But so the one thing they kept doing the whole time was keep painting Edwards as an unintelligent like decision maker. He's irrational. He's impatient. They kind of keep echoing that situation. Then they make him all sweet and kind and shit after he kind of gets the kingdom. Now I can't wait. I'm gonna watch the movie, and I think it's like rated like 6.9, which means it's gonna be good for somebody like me, but it's not gonna like carry the strong torch of like, man, I'd watch that again. Maybe it'll be something good for somebody that's watched this whole series and they can finish it off with a movie. I don't know. I'm curious to find out. I might start it tonight. We'll see. But anyways, so I liked certain things about this. Let me kind of say some things I do like. Whenever Uhtred here's the thing. Uhtred always makes a lot of these promises, and destiny is all. So destiny decides a lot of his fate during the action. In life, we all should do that too. So he goes back to the area where he was trying to get in through this like south gate, and they close off. They basically have run the wall. They clean the wall in a way where people can't just, scaffold across to get to this south gate. I thought that was smart. I was like, yeah, good job. That was the king of Bebbanburg that did that. His little stupid nephew or whatever, cousin. So anyways, he still makes it in. Here's the parts that piss me off, though, when he gets inside. He has 2 opportunities. 2 to take out the king Uhtred's cousin, who's the king of Bebbanburg. 2 main opportunities. The show should have never placed him in those scenarios and had him not make actions to take him out. And then he has like this opportunity where he grabs that king by the knife, with a knife. And when I'm saying he had opportunities, he's walking right by him. Uhtred all has to do is turn around, like stab him. Game over. He's like, I'm your lord. But it could be risk taking. That's all I can say. Maybe risk taking. Did somebody love this guy to death and now they're going to avenge him right on the spot and he's got to deal with a bunch of angry guards? I don't know. But I think Uhtred knew that if he takes him out, everything else topples. So then he has him again by the throat. And again, a missed opportunity. The guy kind of does like this little back elbow thing. He loses track. I'm like, man, Uhtred the type to take him on out. Anyways, the rest of the show, the rest of the episode, it made up for a big chunk of the stupid shit at the beginning. It was like they were just wrapping up loose ends in the show. And I mean, some of this, they could have created better arcs for the whatever's going on. But here's the thing. We don't know the backstory behind people making stuff like The Last Kingdom. We don't know if the show was pressured, like they received word, this is the last season. You guys got to wrap it up. And so they're stuck with, well, how many episodes we get? 10. That's as much as you're going to get, 10. So they're like, we got to strategize this well. And they can only give so much detail the entire way through. If this is a contract, if this is what's negotiated with Netflix, that's a sucky community. You guys, Netflix should not do this to people making great content for viewers. The devil's in the details, and the interest is there too. So a lot of the viewers will rather something have a quality type ending than it to be rushed because there's some contract ending. Anyways, that's just my view. Netflix, you got to get better with that. So don't make those kinds of arrangements. And the people that are making the show, don't tell Netflix you can fulfill that kind of promise. Just be like, yo, it's not going to end on a high note, and you would have messed up a legacy. Like, don't leave a bad image on such a great show. So anyways, we get to the very end. the things I loved the most about it was great with the strategy setup, with the Scots coming on. Like the Scott King is awesome, and he strategizes super well. He's kind of a badass. He thinks like a Uhtred would think, and he forces these guys. He's got them all pegged, and he's about to push all of them off the edge, and that's like the dopest part. I'm like, damn, man, like these guys can't do anything, and there's body after body just plopping to their end. I'm like, boop, boop. I'm thinking, man, you better hope you land on the body to cushion the blow. I'm like, let's get everybody going off the cliff. I was like, good gracious. And then behind comes the saving grace of the Danes, which Uhtred helps corral. Let me say this. I'm glad he formed his bond with the Danish and the Saxon. But who wins this war? The question mark of the day. Who the fuck wins this war, this actual battle that takes place between the Scots, Saxons, and the Danes? You got the answer? I know who it is. It was Alfred's widow. She was the game changer. She won the fight. She was the one that instigated a conversation with Uhtred's daughter to bring all them together and to kind of say, well, I got some troops, but they were getting ready to turn back. And then it was up to Uhtred to turn them back around and say, no, we need y'all, and here's what I'm willing to do as part of that. Because one thing, if you ain't figured it out about this show that makes it great, it's a testament or testimonial. I guess a testament to your word is your bond. And if you don't break your bond, you won't break your trust. And like that's the undertone of this whole show, because he couldn't just make an offer to the Danes like he did and not earn their trust without saying, hey, I'm making a bond with y'all, and you know I don't break my promises. They are all ironclad. I do every one of them the same. And because he held that credibility, everybody followed him. And that is the undertone of this whole freaking show, in my opinion, is that your word is your bond. You gotta be able to carry through with your words and make them actions. So that's the whole moral of the story. My final thoughts are all on that. And he also safeguarded some sovereignty from having to deal with King Edward. Very intelligent writing there. If it was something that was part of an original story of whatever was happening at that time, I don't know any of that. If I read it, I don't remember history like that on that, because too much I've learned, but or overwritten with my brain. But anyways, that was highly intelligent. Uhtred is going to be remembered in the Chronicles. Well, will he be written down in the Chronicles that he also gave sovereignty to Bebbanburg, that no one rules over them, neither Saxon nor Scot. They are their own piece. And it was like, man, yes. And you can see King Edward was over there salted as ever. Like, wow. Yeah, because you old egomaniac. So they played that up very well. That's my main thoughts. That's my whatever. If you guys are Last Kingdom fans, let's chat. Let's talk. What you thought? What's your thoughts? I'm going to try to watch the last movie, and that'll be the finale for me. But anyways, I'm probably going to make me some food first. But thanks for watching, and I will see you guys on the next videos for whatever I make. Peace.